Yeah, there we go. There he is. Okay, so I saw you kind of eyebrows up, scratching your melon. What are we doing?
What are you doing? What are you
to Rider
doing?
fans?
Why are you bringing up those wounds? Like, really?
Hey, you know who says that about you? Randy Ambrosi. So it just it happens.
Well, but the thing is, that was 20 years ago. Like, I'm not talking about Tom Wright. Like, it's just like.
Do you want to show the video? Maybe Arash hasn't seen it. Colson's working the video here. Let's just bring it up. So, but how does he miss that? I don't care what angle you're from. I don't care if it's rugby and you're kicking it from the sidelines.
Like, how long ago this was? It was a CBC game. Like, those are CBC fonts.
Look at those jerseys. Look at the baggy jerseys.
Jerseys anywhere anymore, you know?
What are the other sponsors on there? What was that, Ponderosa?
Yeah. Colson, did you pull out your VCR to get this highlight? Oh my God.
Right after this, there's a commercial for a Pontiac Sunfire. It's hard to believe. Hard to believe, though. They get the single point. Kellen and I deciphered it because I couldn't remember exactly how the game finished. I remember that. And then we had Kelly Bates on earlier, and he was in the game. And then he remembers how they didn't really march down the field. They sputtered down the field. And then O'Mani hit the 40-yarder to win it. So, hey, we can never get beyond that if we can't just sit and watch it and say it happened.
But I think we got beyond it in 2007 and 2013, didn't we, Barney?
Well, maybe some people. Some people are still, hey, whenever the anniversary comes up for the 14th man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I was in the end zone at McMahon Stadium. And
13th.
The kick goes up and immediately the flag. And the kick wasn't even through the uprights. And I just started yelling in that like media holding area. I'm like, oh my God, too many men. Oh my God, too many men.
Yeah, 13. The Sean, play-by-play guy for the Montreal Alouettes, he came on a few weeks ago. What's that?
Sean Campbell, yeah.
Yeah, Campbell. And he told the story how he was like a young intern. And at that game, his job was to hand out the hats, the championship hats. So he started handing them out and then had to go and grab them back. He said it was one of the most awkward and difficult spots he has ever been in. And no doubt about it. Yeah. So when the anniversary of the 13th comes up, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Just to put a pin in this, I went into the home dressing room at McMahon Stadium that night. And I've been in this business for 20-ish years. I have never witnessed a scene like that. Like you had grown men crying. You had grown men punching concrete walls and blood coming out of their knuckles. You had dudes vomiting in the bathroom. I'll never forget Jeremy O'Day just sitting there, full uniform, pads, jersey still on, just staring straight ahead. Like it was every human traumatic emotion. Like the entire book was that locker room that night. It was a sight to behold, man. It's something I'll never forget.
Yeah. Tonight they're handing out awards there in Vancouver. The curious one that everyone's been talking about this year is the MOP, because there was no quarterback that was off the charts this year.
Yeah.
A lot of Saskatchewan people, had our guy that isn't there, but you had a vote. Like, where did you land on this?
So, well, my vote in the end, when I had to vote between Oliveira and Bo Levi, went to Brady. I know that Bo threw for over 5,000 yards. I just couldn't stomach making the most outstanding player in the league a guy who got benched to Labor Day. And then you think about just how important Brady's been to that offense. Two-time rushing champion. In cold weather football, he's been reliable. Week after week, he's been reliable. When the passing game wasn't really there mid-season, early in the season, Oliveira was the one who was kind of the constant, and they're not here without him. And I think there's an element of the story that goes into it too. You know, you're talking about a hometown kid who took over for Andrew Harris. And I had a chat with him yesterday, and he said, I want to win a championship as the guy. And I'm pretty sure tonight Brady Oliveira is going to be named the league's most outstanding player. And based on the options, it's funny because I gave Milligan the vote over Oliveira for the West most outstanding player. But then when it came to Oliveira against Mitchell, I went with Brady over Bo Levi.
And I like how you said the guy that got benched in Labor Day, but Bo Levi, wow, did he have a back half to the year? Yeah.
Arash, Kellen here, and you were talking about Brady Oliveira, and I was looking at some stats, and it's interesting because, you know, if you compare his 23 to 24, this was a down year. By his standards, you know, after having 13 touchdowns and over 2,000 all-purpose yards last year, down to 4 touchdowns this year. But he just, a 2-time rushing champion, like you said, he's just so dominant. What makes him such a weapon for the Blue Bombers?
Well, I'd say this, Kellen, and I was trying to think of a comp for him in this regard, and I can't think of one. I don't know the last time the CFL's had a running back who has gained more yards after first contact. Like usually you hit a running back, it slows him down, he's going to go down, whatever. Brady, that first kind of point of attack is just the starting point of his rushes. And I was talking to Jake Serezna of the Argos yesterday, and he's like, it's not just one guy, it's not just two guys. We have to be hat on a hat, almost like gang tackling him. Because every time he gets hit, he's still going forward. He's still going forward. And so when you could turn, you know, the defense might think it's 2nd and 7, and then all of a sudden it's 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 3 because he gives you an extra lunge or two and then he falls forward. So that just sets up so many different things for your offense. And he's not a dude who likes to dance. He's not a guy who just gets to the line of scrimmage and is going to shuffle kind of left and right and look for an opening. He's just hammer, meets nail. He's downhill. He's vertical. And, you know, you put kind of all of that together, and that's why he's the weapon that he's become.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you mentioned it, and him and Caleros, he's, you know, Oliveira's sort of the straw that stirs the drink. But, you know, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, they've been a totally different team, or they look to be sort of a better team. What's changed, or what's making that happen?
So I went back and I watched the last 3 games they played, and then I started asking around to both the Argos and the Blue Bombers, because I'm like, I hadn't seen this from the Bombers shoot, even through the Banjo Bowl. What they've done in the last month or so, the first 20 plays that they script, the majority of them are RPOs, a run-pass option. It's the Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson stuff. But it's not with the quarterback. It's with Oliveira. So Zach has the option, am I going to hand off or am I going to, you know, keep the play moving with a pass? And over this stretch, guys, the majority of the time, depending on the game, it's been as many as 16 of the first 20 plays are RPOs. So that has to keep a defense honest because they have Nick Dembski, they have Kenny Lawler, they have some not only deep threats, but they also have some, you know, middle of the field threats. And we never really think of Zach as a scrambler, but he can run it too. Those on the stream just saw it there. So I just think the RPO has just injected so much vulnerability for a defense, and that's really helped their offense set up deep balls like the ones Lawler caught in the West Final against the Riders.
The West Final took me back to when I was 8, 9, 10 years old.
Who missed a field goal then?
Watching Tracy Ham, and then it was Doug Flutie, and it's like, well, you can't defend him. Just give him the trophy. Like they're doing everything right, and then if you try and stop that they're going to do this. It's such a chess match and so hard, like you said, when that RPO is going and it's not even like a run pass, it's like a run pass. It is so hard to defend. Now, I'm at coolbet.com, going to sprinkle here, and I see now, 2 days ago we were at 10.5. Yeah. Now it's a 9-point underdog are the Toronto Argonauts. And I think because it's the CFL and because it's the CFL championship game and weird things happen, minus the 2007 Super Bowl, that is a big number, but I'm going to hit that. Are you writing off the Argos? Probably not. You see them a lot. What are you seeing there?
I'm not writing them off. I find the line fascinating. It opened at 7, got to 10.5, now 9. Like, there's been so much fluctuation. The line I actually like is Bombers team total under 30.5. It's a Winnipeg team that in the 2 games against the Argos this year combined for 25 points. So I think if the Argos are able to impose their will on offense, it means they're going to run the football a lot. So to me, here's the path to victory for the Argos. Forget offense for a minute. If you win 2/3 of the game, you can win the football game. And I mean by defense and special teams. Janarian Grant took a kickback, has taken 2 kicks back in the last 3 games. A former Winnipeg receiver. I expect Janarian to be named the special teams player of the year this year, tonight at the awards. He's a guy who can kind of tip the field and tip the scales. Like, the Argos offense was struggling against Montreal. They were struggling at times late in the season. Plays like this, for those watching on the stream, if you remember the punt return for those listening, just change everything. And this is something that Toronto is shown to be capable of. So I just think that's the way. I'm with you, Barney. I think 9 points is a lot, but I think so much of this is just predicated on turnovers, man. Who's going to win and lose that turnover battle? Because a 1-score game can turn into 2 or 3 in a hurry. But I think plays like these can really kind of keep the Argos in the game.
Okay, what was the bet that you liked? You sounded sharp there. I'm going to write it down. I might hit it.
Bombers team total, 30.5, 30.5. Because I think the game total is 50.5.
Yeah,
which makes sense on a 9-point spread that the Bombers would be
51 where I am on Cool Bet. So
51 now, yeah.
So 30.5 under that.
The Bombers are around 30.5, 31. I like the under there.
Okay, I like it. But the sting's still got to be there, right? Anybody that's competed and what happened last year, like Zach Collaros, like there's got to be the revenge factor. What's making him buzz right now, do you think, Arash?
It's the most comfortable in his own skin around football that I've seen Zach in the 12 years I've been around him. The other is he's got such a command of the offense and such a trust in his guys. Follow me on this one, Barney, if you can. So Zach's a dude now who pre-snap will decide, okay, my actual number 1 target's on the right side of the field. But I know it's going to take X amount of time for that receiver to run his route, make his break, and get open. Zach will drop back and look to his left for the majority of the time that the receiver he wants to go to on the right is running, and then he'll suddenly just flip the hips and fire it on a dime before the receiver even makes his break. He's not played with this kind of confidence in a long, long time. And one of the things, like, this is a cat and mouse game now with the Argos secondary. Like, if you're Royce Mechie, the safety, playing center field, you're trying to read the quarterback's eyes. Well, if the quarterback's looking off the entire play, at some point you got to make a decision. And Collaros is like, okay, the Argos have to play him straight up because you can't.
Sounds like we're having audio problems with Arash.
Hey, sorry. My Wi-Fi is not fast.
No, it's okay. Are you at a tavern?
Do we have each other?
Okay, you know what? Though, when you're talking about Collaros, and that is very similar to what I saw from Trevor Harris when he was firing on all cylinders for the Riders as well. There's that confidence in your receivers, and there's the confidence in yourself to be able to look off, and then if you got to drop a let's call it a post corner or an out and up or whatever's taking time to set up, then that is the confidence of having receivers, because you see it in the NFL a lot of times. The worst thing you can have as a quarterback is a receiver that all of a sudden goes, well, but I saw this, or I thought this would be open. Yeah, but dude, you're not watching 7 other guys. Like, there's no tougher position that you got to worry about what everyone else is doing, plus the blocking, plus the scheme, if there was play action involved. So you're right. Okay, what about, I was thinking about this too, Bo Levi Mitchell. What kind of, has he all of a sudden gone from holding a 7-2 to pocket kings here with the way the quarterback market is?
Hey, I thought I'd just go to my phone.
Did you hear me a question about Bo Levi?
I missed the question on Bo Levi. Sorry.
Okay, I said, where the quarterback situation is, what's going to happen with Trey Ford, what's going to happen with VA, all that. But did he go from holding like a 7-2 to all of a sudden holding pocket Cowboys?
I think so. And I think he holds the best hand, not just pre-flop, Barney, but basically at the turn. Because we're almost at that point of the off season where, okay, teams are effectively starting to think about, okay, what decisions do we make now? They restructured Bo Levi Mitchell's contract coming into this season. He's around 250. Barney, there's no way Bo's playing anywhere near that contract next year. And all of a sudden, the carousel, you start to wonder about things, right? Is Ottawa going to move forward with Drew Brown? Is Edmonton going to have McLeod Bethel Thompson in the mix? Are they confident enough with Trey Ford? Who knows who the quarterback, who knows who the head coach is going to be in Edmonton moving forward? I'm pretty sure the rider's going to ride with Trevor Harris, but there's still some, at some point, the music's going to stop and someone's going to be without a chair, but sitting back in his lazy boy right now is Bo Levi Mitchell. And I would suspect that his salary is going to almost double. So I think he'd be happy to go back to Hamilton, but Hamilton's got to ante up.
Yeah. That is going to be so interesting how that plays out.
Isn't it?
Yeah. What time are you heading to the event?
I'm actually I'm taking the veteran option out of the awards.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's a football game that's about to start.
What do you think? What do you think there? I hammered Moneyline Washington.
I like it. I'm too chicken, so I'm just going to take the points, just for a little buffer. But why not?
Give me one long shot that's getting a touchdown on either side that I can sprinkle on us, and I'll go to Cool Bet here and do it.
Ooh. I don't know what kind of long shot he is, but I would say first TD, go Saquon. Not in any time, but a first TD.
Yeah, I'm not a big first TD guy. I used to be. And I just kept losing on that one. But okay. Hey, and you know what? It's been 20 years since Paul McCallum missed that kick for the Riders.
Yes.
And you know how I always like to go back and I tie everything into music. 20 years ago, Usher, Little John, Ludacris, that was number one. But the
was
number,
it really?
Yeah, and then the other one that was just creeping up the charts. Such a good song. Here Without You, 3 Doors Down.
Come on.
Oh, I saw those guys live once. Underrated.
Barney, how old are we?
Doesn't matter. My wife asks me that almost every day. How old are you?
Yeah, I bet she does. Every day or every night?
Every day. Just childish stupidity. Okay. Have a great weekend. Let's package it all up next week, my man.
Okay. Thanks, bud.